So, brief rundown on the deck that I am playing tonight, or I have played tonight in the Vintage Challenge. I've been playing blue, white, red control. So, just as a quick overview, we have mana producing lands. So, I've made a couple of decisions here where I was wanting an extra coloured source. So, a lot of the decks at the moment are playing a split of 2 Tundra, 4 Volk. I've opted for a plateau. I'm not 100% sure if it's correct, but I've kind of liked having an extra red source to make Shattering Spree better, while also being able to, being able to Pyroblast and Swords off the same land seems to my mind have some merit, even if it does hurt me sometimes. From there, we've got some baubles to synergize with Lurrus and to just, keep cards flowing. Standard array of Moxen and a Lotus. Swords as removal, standard blue draw spells, a couple of Pyroblasts, which I think are atypical. I tend to find them occasionally good, occasionally bad. I guess that's the nature of the beast. I do quite like having access to them, though. We are still in a... meta's still heavily blue. It has application in a lot of different matchups. So, even dual shops, you can Pyroblast your Phyrexian Metamorphs, things like that, where, once upon a time they might be completely dead. At the moment, I think they're, a little bit more broadly applicable. I'm playing a couple of Lavinias over Ragavans at the moment. I've just found Lavinia... I found Ragavan to be far too swingy for my tastes, and I've had some issues with some of the Bazaar decks and dual shops again. So I just feel like Lavinia is kind of a way of solving that, or at least a way of improving it. On top of that, I want the full... I have 3 Iconoclasts. I did think about going up to 4 briefly when I was playing against a lot of mono white, but I don't think there's enough mono white to justify 4. It just turns... It just means you can always, if you're playing against mono white initiative, you can very easily reclaim the initiative just with tokens. So I've really liked it for that. Gums up the board against certain matches against shops, and also against Bazaar. And you can always board them out if you think you're going to be going, or you can board down on them if you think you're going to be going hard control. 6 forces, a couple of delve spells just to make sure, once again, you keep cards flowing. Sideboard, I honestly just have barely modified the one that I took from a list initially. When I took out the Ragavans, I was able to move a couple of Pyroblasts to the main, so there used to be 3 in the side, so it's let me play an extra Shattering Spree as well as a Surgical Extraction. I've not tested with this enough in the current meta. I have it mostly because of how it plays with Dreadhorde Arcanist. It lets you just do some things where, you can just mean that Icarids will never get you. It just makes Tabernacle a little bit better for that reason. So Icarids can't get you, Vengevines can't get you, things like that. So the haste creatures that can sometimes just run over the top of you. So still trying it out, still not sold on it. It has actually been good, but I don't know if it's better than something else. I'm just not sure what else to play in its slot. An extra Wasteland, so... Speaking of Wastelands, this has kind of been one of the big innovations in blue-white-red control from when I last played it, which is probably around about the time Urza's Saga became very prevalent. Wasteland has been introduced to the deck to deal with Urza's Saga and Bazaar, and has been fantastic. It's also... I've just found Wasteland to be really good against mono-white, so it's this really broadly applicable card. It almost makes me wonder if I should be playing the 5th copy main, but there we have it. To finish it off, a couple more Shattering Sprees for your various shops matchups, and occasionally a catch-all if you think opponent's going to be playing a lot of artifacts, or you want to be able to clear a board against Saga tokens. And finally, a couple of Tabernacles. These are purely for Bazaar, same with the Tormod's Crypts. So that's my deck. I don't have a great deal of thoughts about it at the moment. I'm sure as I play it more, I will eventually be able to talk about it in more depth. But for now, this is just a quick rundown.